So it should be recording. Okay. All right, I'm gonna mute myself again once. All right, I think we have our PowerPoint all set up. The only person who doesn't have pictures on here right now is our treasurer, Haley, and what we're gonna do is just add those on when we send that PowerPoint out as well. So that will have all the available positions that will be voted on in the next week. So we have several different positions available. Everything is, we have what your responsibilities are gonna be, what the time management is gonna be. Generally, you're going to have a week, the meeting every week, and you're also going to have an officer meeting. So that's around 2 hours requirement, just minimum. And then each position can have, each position will have more hours depending on what it is. So you can either have, sorry, my roommates are in the background still. So we can have either weekly, if you had a secretary position, then you'll have hours just based on that, or you'll have fundraising chair will have hours going forward, a large amount of hours just at once. Let's see if I can get the PowerPoint up and running now. And okay, can everyone see my screen? Good. Okay, so thank you guys, everyone who was able to come today. Super excited to see you all, and as I said before, I'm really, disappointed that we can't all meet in person, but we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to make it a fun quarter and fun year regardless. So this right here is the past officer board, and so last year, what we decided was we were just going to vote in the top, the three president, vice president, and treasurer into office, and then we were going to hold elections again in the fall because we were hoping that we'd have things on campus, but since that obviously didn't happen, we're just still going to go ahead and do the elections this fall, and that's why we're going to be describing the different positions available. So that was the general. Okay, so just a little bit about me. My name is Lauren Winker, and I'm the president. I started this club freshman year, and I've really enjoyed being on the officer board freshman year, or end of freshman year, sophomore year, and junior year. I was the fundraising chair, and then I was the treasurer last year. This is one of my favorite activities on campus. I think that it creates a really great community. I know that it can be really stressful being pre-vet because there's a lot of classes you have to take, worrying about your GPA, trying to get a lot of activities. So we're here as a community to just help you find the right opportunities for internships, jobs, or just enterprises on campus, just an extra person if you need someone to talk to. We're always here for you. So that's my email on there. Feel free to call or email me at any time if you need to. I'm open. I will be willing to schedule time to talk to you, just one-on-one. Whatever you guys need, I'm here for you. A little bit experience that I have. I've done several different enterprises on campus. My first year, I was on the Iberian Pig Enterprise, which is down here in that corner. So I helped with Dr. Manharine's research enterprise for 3 quarters, a summer, and then another quarter. So a little bit over a year. And then I also got a job at a veterinary clinic in the area, Edna Valley Veterinary Clinic, where I work as a veterinary assistant now. It's been a wonderful opportunity. I've gotten some really great hands-on experience. So if you have any questions about getting, working while also being a student, I'm also here for that. And then I've also had other enterprises such as the MareCare, Foaling, the Vet Clinic Enterprise, and a few others. But if you have any questions about any of that, feel free to email me. And next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Taylor. I am this year's vice president for the Vet Club. A little bit about me. You can see that dog up in the left corner. That's my dog named Mocha. Maybe I'll have her over Zoom one time. I am a junior or animal science pre-vet, and I'm planning on going to the University of Edinburgh after this year. That's the main campus, the photo on the bottom. Experience I've had, I've worked at a vet clinic back home. I've done a lot of enterprises on campus, including the vet clinic enterprise. I've also done DareCalf, MareCare, a few more, I can't remember. But if you have questions about that, just let me know. I am really looking forward to this club and just getting to know everybody. I'm a little bummed that we can't have in-person meetings and activities and socials like that, but hopefully we're able to connect everybody over Zoom, do some fun activities. If you have any questions or any ideas, you can email me.
Hi everyone, my name is Haley. I am this year's treasurer. I'm a second year. I don't have any pictures up, but if there were pictures, most recently you would see me with one of the tortoises from the Tortoise Enterprise, which I'm doing this year, which is already super fun. And then fall quarter of freshman year, I was able to do the Vet Clinic Enterprise with Taylor, which was a lot of fun. I have experience working in a vet clinic that ranges from preventative medicine all the way to emergency medicine. So if you have any questions about that, I'd love to answer them. I'm always open to chatting, just sitting down, getting to know you. I am an ambassador for the College of Ag. And so if you have any, cool stories or questions about anything in general, feel free to let me know and I would be more than happy to chat with you. I was last year's freshman representative, so it's so nice to see some of my fellow second years again. I missed you guys a lot. It sucks that we aren't in person, but I hope that, we'll all be able to stay connected this way.
Okay, and Dr. Sprayberry is our club advisor. I don't know if she's actually in the meeting right now. She said that she was actually going to be driving home. And so she might be in the car right now and unable to talk to us, but she's always available. I think that she has office hours and she's really a great, advisor for us. And if you have any questions, she's almost always willing to help you guys out. So I don't believe she was able to make it in tonight, but that's okay. We'll have her the next time, I guess. Okay. So if Taylor wants to go over this, we're starting a new program where we wanted to do a mentor, big vet, little vet, such sort of situation. Just because we can't meet in person, doesn't mean we don't want a community building, and we want to still have, a resource for you guys if you, especially if you're a freshman and you don't have, experiences on campus yet. We want to make sure that you still have people to reach out to. So if Taylor wants to go over this, I'll mute myself.
Yeah, so pretty much what Lauren said. Yeah, I'll definitely send the link in the chat. I'll also send it in the email too when we follow up with this meeting. Yeah, so I wanted to start a student mentor type of program where you can get paired with someone that's either a mentor or you can be a mentor yourself. You can talk about anything, classes, professors, just anything you want to talk about, really, just to make friends, connect with people. Super flexible. You guys can make your own schedule, Zoom chat, maybe even get coffee, social distance together if you're in the same area. Just stuff like that. I love reaching out to people, networking, stuff like that. So if anybody needs help with that, that's like a great way to get, yeah, I'll resend the link. Way to get help networking, connecting with vets in the area, doctors like Dr. Stanek, Dr. Sprayberry, Dr. Bird, Vagnoni, like there's all of these doctors out there that can help you, and we can really, connect you guys. So yeah, take that Google form if you want to be a mentor or want to sign up for the program. I'll send it in the chat right now. Thanks.
And I'll also send it out over email. So if you aren't able to get the link right now, I will send it out over the email when I send out this PowerPoint and the recording from the evening for anyone who wants that. This is a really great opportunity, especially since we can't, as we all know, meet in person. I know there's a bunch of older students who are really excited about this opportunity and they really want to get to know you. So don't be afraid to reach out. Like there will be a mentor and a mentee for everyone who wants to do it. All right. And then our other topic of discussion tonight is going forward, what time we want meetings to be. The officer board that we have right now has decided that 7:30 to 8:30 would work best, but we want to make sure that this is working around your schedule as well. So I will be sending out a poll later today or tomorrow, and it will just like ask you guys if this time works for you or if you have a class at the time, just so we can see what's going on with everyone. We want everyone who can to join our meetings, and although we can record them and send them out later, of course it's best if you're in person because then we can see your guys' faces. So there's a little bit of wiggle room. We've always done Wednesday evenings, but I think if we make it work, we can find a better time that works best for everyone. So I don't know if you guys want to either email me times that work best for you, and I'll put that into the poll, or I can just, on Wednesday evening, starting at around, 5 all the way up to, ending at 8:30 or 9, we can see what is most accessible for everyone. All right, and then going into the available officer positions. So 2 of the positions that will be available are events coordinators. So these people will be in charge of, well, we can't do all these this year, but a lot of times we'll do trips to vet school. So one of our main trips is to UC Davis, and we'll do an overnight trip there and then do a tour of the campus and get to know either a couple of vet students who used to go to Cal Poly or just a few vet students who, run those tours. They also have to make sure that they're doing the budgets for that. So, you only have so much money in the budget for it. So transportation and hotel stay and the price of the actual tour itself. And then you're going to also have to monitor that time and then make sure that everything runs smoothly when we're on that trip. Unfortunately, I don't believe we're able to do any sort of field trips this year. But so we're going to try to figure out any other sorts of situations. So that will be a lot of these positions are going to be flexible for what their requirements are. Another thing they would normally put on would be the MMI, so multiple mini interviews. A lot of the times, or many of the vet schools are starting to do this multiple mini interview style interview, where it's several rooms and you have different scenario-based questions. So we would have that on campus. Since we can't do that either, we can still try to set up some sort of interview to prepare students for interviews, either for jobs that you're going to go into, or if you've just applied to vet school, you're going to have vet school interviews hopefully coming up, and we'll try to get you guys all prepared for that. The next is going to be the fundraising chair. We'll still have to figure out if this is something feasible, because a lot of people aren't in San Luis Obispo, but we'll see how many people are. And so the main event is a fundraiser that they can choose last year we did Blaze and Urbane, I believe. So there's, a few different places you can choose from, and you contact that company or that business or that restaurant, and you have to plan all of that and then advertise it. So that's another one of those positions where it's not going to be a lot of work until all at once. So it's, every week you're going to have the minimum of the 2 meetings, and then towards the fundraiser, you're going to have a lot more. Publicity chair.
Add something to the past one. I was fundraising chair last year, and I did do fundraisers with restaurants and stuff in SLO. But if you ever want to, come up with an idea or change one of the functions or one of the like officer position roles, you can fundraise for Woods Humane Society. It doesn't have to be for the vet club. You can start a fundraiser like that. You can collect donations, do anything like that. So it's not just the restaurant. So it's really, open to you and to what you want to do.
Yes, with any of these positions, it's not, set in stone, especially now since we can't do everything that we would have been able to do in the past. If you have ideas, like that's why we want you guys to run and bring these fresh ideas into the club. We're willing to, help you out and do anything, to make it work. So the 3 people who are already on, club board, we're really excited for this quarter, and so we're going to be here to help you as well. So it's not just because you're fundraising chair doesn't mean you're doing it all by yourself. Like you will have support from the fellow officers. We're trying to make it all run smoothly. It's not just on you. Okay. And publicity chair, so this one's going to be another position where it's going to be more of a steady hours throughout the week for the entire quarter, because you're going to be in charge of sending up emails. So we do have a club email and we have a club Instagram and Facebook. And so you just have to manage that. A lot of times there'll be a couple emails per week of new people wanting to join, or eventually we're going to talk to vet schools who want to come and talk to us. And so just managing some of that stuff. And then also just helping out with the events and with the officer meetings. Secretary is another one of those positions where it's a steady amount of hours every week, and so you're going to take notes at every meeting. So you have to take the minutes. That way, if people who weren't able to make it can get the information from the meeting, and if there was any sort of contact, they get that contact as well. And you'll also attendance isn't mandatory. This is a fun club. We just want you guys to come here, but we also just want to see who has been coming, who are regular members. So when we're going forward in the future for future elections, we know who was coming regularly, so who was dedicated to the club. Then we have the Ag Council and open house representatives. So generally in the spring we have open house, so I don't know how that's going to go, and I don't know if Ag Council is still having meetings every week, but that was a weekly meeting held by Ag Council is all the different agricultural clubs, and they all meet for an hour every week, and they just go over different agendas so that other clubs can be helpful. So if you have a fundraiser for a vet club, all the other clubs like Dairy Club could, come and support as well. So this is more of a, club community for all of the ag clubs. And so we'll still look into what that will entail, but there will be 2 people for that position as well.
I was Ag Council representative last year. They sent out an email. They are still doing meetings. And they normally did some other fun stuff throughout the quarter for clubs to earn points, because at the end of the year you get small club of the year and then large club of the year. I don't know how they're doing that with COVID and everything and not being able to have social events. But they are meeting, I'll tell you that.
Awesome. So that is, I believe, an hour a week. And the reason we have 2 people is we understand your schedule is going to change from quarter to quarter. So hopefully if your schedule, if you have a class during that hour, then the other person can pick up the slack that quarter. And then the next quarter you can do it, and the other Ag Council representative can, have their class. And so once again, though, that's the hour a week, and then the 2 hours from 1 hour for vet club and then for the officer meeting. But also if you have more ideas, about outreach, you're certainly welcome to, give us those ideas, and we'll help you figure out anything you want to do as well. Okay. And so we're going to be doing a new t-shirt this year. This was last year's t-shirt. It was super cute. And so we're going to figure out how we can get t-shirts out to everyone. And so we're going to have a contest for the next design, and I think Taylor had some information about that as well.
Yeah, so those pictures on the slide there, the t-shirts we had last year, they were very cute. I forget who designed them, but if you are into graphic design or drawing or anything, and you think you can make up a good design, we'd love to see it. So just get that into me, email it to me. My email's right there, by around October 25th. And then after that date, we'll send out another Google form to see who wants to order a t-shirt.
I think in the past, t-shirts were anywhere from $15 to $20 because we do order a large batch of them. So depending on how many, the more people who order them, the less expensive they are generally. But it's super fun to have those shirts, especially generally we could wear them, for club meetings or events. But just in general, it's nice to have a fun shirt. And I think that is our main PowerPoint slide for today. So I will stop sharing screen and we can just, if anyone has any questions, that's mainly what we're here for tonight. If anyone wants to know anything more about the positions available, about me, Haley, or Taylor, or anything like that, feel free to either ask it in the chat or, unmute yourself and ask.
Lauren, you're doing awesome, and I'm so excited to have you as president.
Thank you. I'm literally so excited for this club. I mean, I know I keep saying it's a bummer that's not in person, but I mean, I've already gotten 3 Instagram famous veterinarians to come and talk to us, and so they're all super sweet. And I've been talking to Dr. Stanek about the possibility of holding a suturing clinic if you're in San Luis Obispo. And if you're not in San Luis Obispo, you'd still be able to zoom in and participate. We just don't have the supplies to get out to you. I'm also looking into seeing if we can record an ultrasound in the area. But one of the main things I want to see what you guys are, what you're feeling like you're missing out most on. So that will be in the survey I'm sending out. And so I guess the 2 questions I have are, what do you feel like you're missing because of COVID? If there's experiences that you really wanted to get that you're feeling you're not, you're lacking right now, or if there's any veterinary schools that you're specifically interested in, because I will contact those schools and try to get them to come and talk to us, whatever's in my power. That's why I'm here, is I want to make it a good experience for you guys. No, I do see a question here. Are there going to be presentations from University of Glasgow and Edinburgh? We're still working on that. I'm pretty sure there will be. They generally come either generally in the fall, I want to say. So we're still going to have them try to come and zoom in with us. They won't be able to come in person, most likely. And any other questions? Can relatively new members run for these offers positions, or does this apply to previous members mostly? So this is open to anyone. Okay, so first one, so the positions are open for anyone. So there's not necessarily, seniority, but if you have been in the area and people know you, they're more likely to vote for you, but that's not necessarily meaning that we don't have positions. And I do believe we forgot to put on there, but we also have freshman representative is another officer position. So that one is mainly just talking to the freshman class and seeing what they want, and then relaying it back to officer board. So there is a position specifically for freshmen. And then if you are a relatively new member, like there's still so many opportunities to get involved, and we definitely recommend that you still run for a position. We'll have those next week. We'll try to do it the way we did last year or in the years previous. We'll do you'll go up, you'll have a little speech, you'll tell why you're qualified for the position, and then we'll put the people who are running for the position in a breakout room, so they can't hear the rest of everyone, and we can all just only positive things. But if I know someone, I can be like, oh, I worked with Riley in the past, this is why she's qualified, and this is why I think she'd be good for this position. Only positive things, of course. And then we'll vote. It should be anonymous, so no one will know who votes for who, and then whoever gets that position will bring everyone back in from the breakout room. And if you want to run for a position, how do we go about that? I don't know if I kind of answered that question right now, but basically you just show up to the next meeting, and any of those positions are available. We'll start at the beginning, and you can run for as many as you want until you get the position that you want. And we should have, that way we have a full officer board going forward. Any other questions about Cal Poly, enterprises, work in the area,
I
life.
have a question.
Mhm.
How many of you guys are freshmen? You're like,
Good question.
ah, fun. You guys all in the dorms? No, that's funny.
Wait, guys, raise your hand again. I'm sorry, I didn't see people who raised their hand who were freshmen. I'm so excited to meet all of you. We're gonna try to
Yeah.
do that, mentor thing, and I'll try to meet with everyone as well. I'm sure all the officers are super excited to get to know you. Any other questions? And about anything? A raised hand. Michelle, did you have a question?
No, sorry, that was about the freshman question.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I have a quick question, just like
Of course.
for everybody. Like, does anyone know of any places in or around SLO, like clinics or really anything that are? Because
Yeah.
I've called so many vet clinics and it's all been dead end. So if anyone has a connection, I would love to know.
I hear the VCAs in Arroyo Grande, I think, are looking for vet assistants.
Okay. I'll hit
So
them.
I think I think it's on Handshake, or it's on, if you look it up, it comes up on something, but it's the VCA in Arroyo Grande. I think is looking for people.
And I would totally recommend, because it's how I did it. I mean, I know everything's different now, but wear a nice outfit, print out a resume, and drop them off at veterinary clinics in the area. A lot of the times, even if they don't have something posted, just seeing you show up and be interested, they might offer you a position or an interview. That's how I did it. I went from vet clinic to vet clinic until someone would offer me a shadowing position. And so that worked out for me. And then we can also do a resume clinic if anyone's worried about having a resume or practice interview. So that can be another fun activity we can do. And email list. And also I don't know if all the freshmen who wanted to, I'm still working on the email list. I added around 50 new people, I think, over the last week. But if you don't think your email's on it, you can also send me an email with your name, and then I will add you. And if you're already on it, we'll just update your contact. You won't get the email twice. Okay. So mentors and mentees, it's just going to be random. So this is, not, there's no necessarily rhyme or reason. We're just going to pair someone who is probably a junior or a senior with someone who's a freshman or a sophomore, unless the sophomore feels like they want to be a mentee. So you'll put on the list on the form if you want to be a mentor or mentee. But that, there's no necessarily, unless there's someone you wanted as your mentor. Could someone be a mentor? So someone asked if they can be a mentor and a mentee. We can try to make that work. I don't know how many people we're going to have, sign up right now, and transfer students can get mentors as well. So I shouldn't say age or year. Should it's just how whatever you want to do. So if you're a transfer and you want to be a mentee, like you're still considered new to the club and new to our to the Cal Poly Animal Science pre-vet everything. So of course you can still be a mentee even though you're technically a junior or senior standing.
I also want to emphasize there's no real limitation to this mentor thing. So you can be a mentor, you can be a mentee, you can do whatever you want with it, make friends, talk about anything you want. So it's really up to you guys.
Any other questions?
I have a quick question about are you guys going to give any information about the vet clinic enterprises coming up in this year?
Yeah, so I believe the vet clinic enterprise was approved to be on campus and in person. Dr. Stanek is the one who runs that, and so we can get you her contact information, and we could probably get her to come and join us and give a little spiel. I believe it's just like adding another class, and so you just are in. I do believe you have to email her first and get a permission code. So she does have a limitation just for size-wise. Besides that, though, and she does choose based on seniority. So she chooses seniors first, then juniors, just because if you're graduating, that might be your last chance to be in it. But we can definitely have her join. We'll also try to do a overview over all the different enterprises available and try to make sure you guys know all the information about them, and so you guys can join whichever ones I don't know which all are offered right now, but I'll try to figure all of that out. But yeah, we can definitely get some more information about that.
I think the ad drop period is like today or soon.
It
Just
is.
if you are looking to add something, yeah.
Yeah, I do believe it's full for this quarter also. I think that was probably full.
Yeah, I think Vet Clinic fills up pretty quick and you have to send like an
Yeah.
application and stuff. I do think though, I don't know if Medicare is full. I'm not sure about that.
And I don't know what the limitations are since it is the ad drop date. But reaching out to any of the professors, we can send out in the email list, there's generally a contact list for all the different professors who do the enterprises. We can try to get that out to you guys too. Yeah, you might just need a permission number. And Riley's saying that the VCA in Arroyo Grande is hiring, that she works there. So, if you guys have any questions about that, you can ask me, or I don't know if Riley's willing to, talk about that a little bit, but there probably are some different veterinary clinics in the area willing to hire, and the Turkey Enterprise isn't full either.
Yeah, and I definitely know of another vet clinic. There's the one that I work at, Coast Vet Clinic. They're looking for part-time vet assistants as well. They're like preferring people who have a little bit of experience, but they're a pretty good clinic to work at. That's Coast Veterinary Clinic if you're interested.
Awesome, thank you. And then one of my roommates, I know everything's a little different over, COVID and quarantine, but she did get a job in the area. She said she just emailed places, maybe attach a resume, but you just email the different veterinary clinics you'd be interested in working in, and you can always hope that someone's willing to hire you. And when are the weekly officer meetings? Oh, sorry, I don't know if this is for everyone, but basically, weekly officer meetings there's not a set date for that. That meeting will be determined by all the officers, whatever works best for them. So it's not a certain time. So if you're worried about it working into your schedule, we're really flexible, especially now that everything's over Zoom. We can make it work that if you're, worried about that, we can make sure you're able to join it.
I was going to say too, if you're in SLO, I think you could always volunteer at Woods Humane. I think they're doing volunteering there again.
That and the Cal Poly Cat program would always love more volunteers too. The other thing, I believe talking to Julie, who does the Foaling Enterprise, she told me that in the next few weeks they're going to find out whether they're allowed to do the Foaling Enterprise, which to me also means that all the rest of the enterprises that would normally be in winter will be told whether they're allowed to be held or not. So I would say look out in the next few weeks for that. Normally applications are on the bottom floor of building 10. I don't know if they're going to do that this year with everything, but that's normally where you find them.
And I can reach out to the ASI Animal Science office, and I can get all those applications sent to me and sent out to everyone. I don't mind being the middleman for that. So if you have any questions to me, or just questions in general, just send me an email. I'll try to get it to you as soon as possible. I would say within 24 hours, I'm pretty good at responding. So if you have any certain, enterprises or classes that you're interested in, I'll email the Animal Science office for you if that's what you guys wanted, if you weren't sure how to do that. Also, and anything else? No. And I will ask in the poll also how many people are in San Luis Obispo, so that we can figure out about if that suture clinic will work out or not. It would be if we're able to distribute suture packets and then sterilize them, and then either pick them up from the vet clinic or from another destination, and then you just have to sign off that you bring it back, because that's the most important part, is that we can get all the suture materials back and any sort of sharps disposed of properly, and everything else sterilized before being used again. Our biggest restraint for that, I would say, is that we only have so many supplies, and so if we have a lot of interest, we can do it a couple times. And you're, of course, if you're in it one time, you're able to join it again for the next time. And any other questions about literally anything? No.
And if you think of questions later, we'll add that to the poll too, where you can type in if you have any questions in the email that we'll send later.
Is anyone excited about anything specific this quarter, or anything any weird experiences so far, or anything you didn't expect it from college? I know probably didn't expect to have to wear masks everywhere, but besides that.
I think just meeting a bunch of other pre-vet people is cool. I know, like, I've been in a few classes and I don't really meet anyone pre-vet, so it's really awesome that there's a whole, like, club of like-minded people, so that's really cool.
Awesome. And I don't know if anyone's in the classes I'm in, or if you guys ever see me anywhere, always say hi to me. I want to get to know everyone, and I'm just, I'm really excited for this quarter. I know, as I've said before, but I think that even though we're online and it's virtual, it's still going to be a really great opportunity for everyone. Aw, everyone says they're excited. So if people want to stay longer and ask questions or talk to me about anything, I can talk about, I'm in a sorority, I work in the area, I've done research with the bio department and the cafes department. I like to surf in my free time. I just applied to vet school. So if you have any questions about anything, I can Oh, thank you. Thanks. I am on speaker. Okay, does anyone have anything else? Okay, well, I'll just be here until 8:30. So feel free to log off, send me, private questions or anything, but if you just want to stay here and talk to me, I'm here also.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you're comfortable sharing, I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
How did you apply to vet school? I'm curious.
Can you repeat the sorry, I don't know why it cut out.
What schools did you apply to for vet
Yeah,
school?
of course. So I applied to a bunch of different schools. I was super nervous about getting in anywhere. But I applied to Washington State, Oregon State, UC Davis. I also applied to Colorado, Kansas, Louisiana, North Carolina, and Georgia, and Ohio. So that was 9 places in the United States. It is pretty expensive. We will do a whole VMCAS review and just how to apply. And I believe I'll be completely honest about prices and everything. I think it's about $120 for each application that you send in, and there will be additional expenses such as the GRE. And then I also applied to 2 places out of the country. I applied to University of Sydney in Australia and Massey in New Zealand, and I'm currently enrolled in the University of Glasgow, or not enrolled, admitted to the University of Glasgow. So I would be going there next year, and so I'm still just trying to decide if that's what's the best fit for me or not. So if you have any questions about that program as well, I'm willing to answer it. But yeah, so I applied to a bunch of different places. It took a while, but I had a hard time deciding where I wanted to go, and I was also just nervous. But if you had any questions, I'm pretty much an open book. I'm not, embarrassed about anything. Anything you want to ask me.
This is like a random question, but because going far, like Glasgow's like so far. Are you like originally from like California? So
yeah,
like it was slow. Yeah.
I grew up in Davis, California. So, so I grew up in Davis. My parents still live there. So that's one of the reasons I'd want to maybe go back there. Is just I could live at home, which would be nice expense-wise. But I grew up in I was born in Davis, California, and then my dad was in the military, and so he got stationed to Colorado. So we lived in Colorado for 4 years, and then we moved back to Davis, and he went reserve, so he didn't have to travel, move around anymore. And so we stayed in Davis for the rest of my life. And so I graduated from Davis High School, and then came here. I really think that when I was in high school, I worked at the UC Davis Nutrition Lab with a bunch of undergraduate students, and I think that Cal Poly undergraduate really prepares you super well for animals, whatever career you want, especially pre-vet. A lot of the students were working in the lab, that I was in high school, and they didn't have half the experience that we get here. So I think you guys made a great choice coming to Cal Poly. If you guys also have any other questions, go ahead.
So I'll go. So I also just finished applying to vet school as well. I think I applied to 10 schools in total, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
So in your decision to apply out of state, so like out of the country, you said Sydney and or Australia. So I was also thinking about it, but I decided not to because I wasn't sure of like the costing wise. Also internationally, like whether I would even be able to move there. Yeah, so like I just want to like know your opinion on like what made you want to apply out of the country, and do you think it's a viable option in the future? I don't know, because I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah, you're just gonna laugh because the reason I applied is because my dad told me to. He got super excited. He was like, if you go to Australia, you can go surfing all the time. So that was Australia, and I was like, if you're gonna pay for it, like just those ones, I'm paying for my own applications. But I was like, if you want to pay for me to apply to Australia so you can visit me in Australia, then okay, I'll do it. So Australia was really easy to apply to because there was no extra application. So it was just submitting the VMCAT, the main application, and then Massey. I was just because a couple of my friends were applying there, and so I was thinking, you know, it wouldn't be as bad going out of the country if I knew someone who was also going there with me. You hit on a bunch of the big topics for me. A bunch of international schools are going to be 5 years rather than 4 years, and they're going to be expensive, just the same amount. So I do believe, though, that the 5 years correlates to be around the same amount of money as 4 years in the United States. So it's not like a whole extra year price-wise, but vet school can range anywhere from around $200,000 to $500,000. So it is a really big, you know, financial strain on everyone. So if that's, you know, your choice, of course, I understand. But I think mine was mainly just location. I thought, you know, since I stayed in California from, you know, my whole life, basically, I was 4 years old when I lived in Colorado. So don't know, you know, very well. I'm thinking about this as my next, you know, 4 years to experience something new. So, you know, you can practice veterinary medicine anywhere. And so my one thing is just make sure you are applying to places that are accredited unless you're planning on practicing outside of the United States. So I wanted to make sure that I was applying places that could still become, you know, accredited in North America, but also maybe experience something new. I have a question or a comment in here. Okay, yeah, so what Tara was saying is that a lot of the international schools are AVMA accredited, which is that main accreditation you need. And you have to take the NAVLE test, which is the North American Veterinary Licensing exam. And that's pretty much your ticket to practice in the United States. But a lot of the other places also have other boards or veterinary. So for example, if you were to go to Glasgow, you can practice in the United States and basically any other country in the world because you're also on the board of veterinary surgeons, the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. It's I might be butchering the name, but there's another, you know, international board. And if you're on that, you can practice anywhere else. And tuition is comparable, but moving costs will be more. So that's, you know, obviously something to think about. Anyone else?
Costs and visa costs too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're gonna have to move, and a lot of the times they'll be, you know, expensive. So I mean, I have a car in California. I probably wouldn't be able to, you know, get that unless I was shipping it over. You might have to buy a car if you're gonna have, you know, transportation. Unless you're gonna take the bus places, you're gonna have to think about new furniture. You know, you don't have to take everything with you, obviously, but I know other people want to look into, you know, if they're going to take an animal they have with them overseas. So there's, you know, a lot of different processes there.
The other thing.
Also, sorry.
For like Ross University and St. George, the ones that are in the Caribbean islands, they're a 3-year program. And so your 4th year for your clinical, you have to apply to a separate college that offers your clinical year. So you have to move again. So like my stepsister did 3 years at Ross, and then she did her clinical year at Texas A&M, and then she stayed in Texas. So that's another thing to consider when you're looking at that. Is it a all comprehensive, like I'm going to do my entire education here, or do I have to have it supplemented somewhere else and then have another move?
I think it's.
And there's clearly like a benefit and a negative, like pros and cons. Like you get to have you get to go to them multiple places, which I think is like really cool, but then you also have to move, and I hate moving. But I wanted to say, with terms of some schools that are international and they know that they have a lot of international students, they really do help. They help you find housing. If you want to bring an animal, they tell you like the process of how to do that. So if you're considering that, just know you're not like going completely alone. There is help and resources.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree with that. I applied to the Edinburgh program, and I haven't accepted it yet, but I'm planning on accepting it in January. And they've got tons of resources to help you. They lay everything out for you, the costs, the transportation, the housing, the classes, everything like that. A bunch of international schools do that for you. So definitely don't get overwhelmed. If you have any interest in applying internationally, you should definitely look into it.
Yeah, I know that when Glasgow, University of Glasgow and University of Edinburgh come out, they always list the different resources there are, and there's generally either someone in admissions or there's someone whose job is literally to help you, even if you're an international student, get everything figured out. I think that once you're in vet school, it's very welcoming, and they want to make sure that you succeed where you in that school, because it only benefits them to have you graduate and do well in their school, and so they want you to be comfortable and have everything you need there. Any other questions?
Yeah, so did you guys apply for the CASPER exam? Because for some of the schools I applied to in the United States, they're opting out of the GRE and requiring the CASPER. I'm actually taking it tomorrow, so I was wondering if you guys are also.
Yeah, I haven't taken it yet, but I know a couple of my friends who have. I know that it's a situational, scenario-based exam, and it's not at all there's no score involved. You're not getting a, from 1 to 10, and 10 is good and 1 is bad. It's going to be looking at your personality, and they're going to be probably giving you different, scores based on that. So they're, communication skills, positivity. I don't know all the different, what they're looking at exactly, but there's not a bad score. They're just trying to get who you are on, try to make that accessible for vet school, so that when they're like, oh, I want someone who's good at teamwork and has positive outlook, and I want them to be able to communicate well and have, team building. And so they're going to have, certain things they're looking for, and then they'll look for that, I guess, score. But everyone that I have known that taken it is said it's been super easy. It's not like something to be stressed about. It's just something to be, just be yourself and take the time to really, answer the questions as you would best answer, basically like an interview in person, but just, I think it's a typed answer instead, and you'll be fine. There's not like a right or a wrong answer in that sort of situation.
It's more like pre-testing if you have like the skills, like the interpersonal skills that it takes to be a vet, because like you can teach anybody medicine, but like if you can't teach them how to communicate or be empathetic or sympathetic or objective about a situation, then they can't really be an effective vet. So that's kind of the point behind the test. Those things. You don't get your score, which is kind of unfortunate, but the score in itself isn't like Lauren said, it's not like 1 to 10, 10 being like, oh, you're fantastic at this. It's reviewed by like experts that kind of give like their input on whether like you handled this well. I mean, there are like wrong answers. It's like somebody who'd be like a psychopath, if that makes sense, which sounds wrong. But like there are the people who just like don't have the skills, and then there are the people who are like, okay, they have like the basis and we can teach them, or there are people who just like naturally excel at a certain thing. So like I have to take it in October, and I'm honestly not stressed about it. The GRE I hated, but the CASPER, no.
Yeah, going off of that, I think that it's just not something anyone should be worried about, and hopefully going forward, not everyone will have to take it, because hopefully there'll be in-person interviews or at least Zoom interviews. But right now, it's everyone's scrambling to figure out how best to evaluate potential vet students. So this is what they settled on, which is the Casper test. But any other questions about applications or vet school? Anything?
I'm going to give fair warning to anybody in Southern California, particularly the San Diego area. Finding places to volunteer at is going to be a lot harder. I know a lot of the clinics in my area, particularly large animal and equine clinics, because that's what I'm interested in and going to go specialize in. I plan on doing equine surgery after vet school. They're a lot harder to find because most of them take either fourth year vet students who are doing clinical rotations and externships. So just reach out earlier than you think you're going to need to so that you can potentially get in somewhere.
But if you're on campus and able to do the enterprises, getting experience under your belt that way is also really, it looks really good on applications because it will show that you have experience. And there are equine veterinarians and just, trained professionals at Cal Poly who are, it's their job to want to help you and to get you excited about the different, specialties and everything.
Dr. Sprayberry.
Yeah, Dr. Sprayberry.
I recommend her highly. That and Dr. Bird I love, but Dr. Sprayberry, it sucks you guys can't sit down face to face and talk with her like you would in her office, because I have done that plenty of times. I've cried in her office because she kind of is my epitome of what I'd want to be. But yeah, no, the professors that we have here are phenomenal. There's not a single person in our department who I've met who I haven't liked. Can't say so much for that for other departments, but our department, great job.
And I don't know if the freshmen were assigned advisors like they normally are, but you can always go to another advisor. So, just because you have one advisor doesn't mean that even if you don't, just because you like them doesn't mean necessarily that you then have the right information for you. So my freshman advisor was Dr. Peterson. He's a wonderful person. I really, respect him and everything, but he's not a veterinarian and he didn't go to vet school. And so I personally was I'll go to him for my class advising, but for, other sorts of advising where I'm looking for application help or, veterinary medicine experience, then I would go to either Dr. Sprayberry or Dr. Stanek. So just you're never locked down to one person in the advising situation. You can always go to someone else. I know that even just personalities don't always meet eye to eye, so don't be afraid to find a new person that works for you and go to them as well.
I second that. I had Dr. Kang, a wonderful person, but he does meat and that's not what I want to do. So I personally locked in on Dr. Sprayberry because she did internal medicine at a Haggard Equine Medical Facility in Lexington, Kentucky, which is kind of where I want to go in life. So, you should be able to find somebody in here who does what you want to do. I don't really think there's an area like nutrition, for example. If you're really interested in the zoo, Dr. Edwards, the person to talk to.
Dr. Edwards.
I'm going in for a third beating with him. I'm doing comparative nutrition. I did introductory, I did equine, and now I'm doing comparative. But honestly, such a good man, so accomplished, so knowledgeable. You want to get into a zoo anywhere, have him write you a letter.
He's really cool, and he's got some amazing stories that he does not talk about. But,
no, but
he's saved endangered species. He's that cool.
If you find that you really like 220, which is the introductory nutrition, he also teaches equine nutrition, which would really be for somebody who's super interested in equine. I don't know if they're going to still do 520, which is the comparative nutrition, every other year or not. But if you find an interest in it, I would highly recommend. He normally does a nutrition enterprise too. Right now they're not doing it because it wasn't approved for in-person, but if that's really something that you're interested in, zoos, nutrition, the man to talk to.
Yeah, there's, as Kayla said, there's someone for everyone, and don't be afraid to try out, go shoe shopping, try them on first, see what works best for you. So, meet with an advisor, see if you like what they say, and if you don't, don't be afraid to go to the next advisor, because, this is your academic career. I mean, I hate to say it, but you're paying to be here, and so you should get, everything out of it you want to. And if you're also wanting to, just talk to that's why we also want the mentor-mentee program is, work out, oh, I'm really, interested in reproductive. And then we have Dr. Campos on campus, who is, absolutely amazing and does high-tech ICSI. And I can't even say everything that he does, because, reproductive, medicine is his specialty. And then we have, nutritionists, we have behavioral, Dr. Huzzy does behavior, we have research, Dr. Minharine does, research, basically anything that you want to do or you want to get involved in, there's someone who will, and most all of them will be wanting undergraduate students, and you just have to reach out to them. So anyone has any, things that are really specific, I can try to point them in the right direction also if anyone has anything.
And branching off of that, I think now is a really good time to be proactive, especially because everyone's on Zoom. I think a lot of people are taking the easy way and just being like, oh, school's like, whatever, it's online, doesn't really matter, right? But if you email the teachers and, talk to them on Zoom and really put in work now, then it will matter, and you'll be better off for, when in-person comes back around again.
I can't stress how important just sending an email can be. My first quarter freshman year, I was sick the first week of campus, and so I didn't get involved in any of the enterprises. And so I sent out an email to every single, basically every single enterprise. I just wanted to get experience. And Dr. Minharine was the only one who answered me because everyone else was full. And he let me into his upper division 490 class as a freshman. So just because and also just the experience you have does not have to define what you can do here. So I think the interest and willingness to get involved is more important than, not more important, but just as important as what you've done in the past. So if you're really interested in something, you will be able to find an opportunity in that. So I went from never probably seeing a pig in person almost, except for at a petting zoo, to working at a pig farm, multiple days a week, to doing a research project. I got involved with 3 different research trials in the lab, doing DNA, RNA extractions, everything from in-person pigs to the final product of finding. I'm working with Dr. Davidson now with a sequencing project. So there's so many opportunities here, and everyone wants to help you. So you just have to reach out to them.
What are you sequencing?
We were doing the Iberian pig project, so they're leptin resistant, and so we were looking at what genes cause that and what expression. So we're doing transcriptomics. I always forget the right way to do that. But so we're doing the Iberian pigs and their leptin resistance gene.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is building these relationships now is really important later on when you're going to ask for those letters of recommendation for vet school. You want ones that are going to absolutely glow about you, because maybe, you had a hard quarter or 2 and your grades aren't as great, but then you've got those people who actually know your experience in terms of what you are as a person, your experience out there actually doing veterinary stuff, that they can attest that hey, fall quarter of 2021 was crap, but in general, you have the skill to make it through that they can't see based on just grades.
I mean, as grades, I think we're all going to be told grades are important. Getting into vet school is hard, and but I think that having experience can sometimes make up for that. So be easy, be easy on yourself, be fair with yourself. Doing badly in one class is not going to be the end of the world. You can, don't think that just because one, bad grade is not going to get you into vet school. There is a vet school for everyone, and there's, the path for everyone. And even going to vet school, not even out of, right out of undergraduate, I think the average age of veterinary schools is older. So it's between like 25 plus. And so it's not like there's no set path for everyone. And so getting, obviously I'm not saying, don't try and don't do well in your classes, but, do your best in your classes. The best you can do is the best. And then also get experience, and that will help you a lot too. Because in the end, I think a lot of vet schools are really looking at the whole person. So they're going to want to see that you took the time to get experience on campus, that you reached out and you were involved in clubs, and you were, you tried hard in your classes, and you worked and you volunteered. So there's more than just your GPA when it comes down to it.
Yeah, for example, I'm going to use Davis because that's the one I'm most familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
They look at everybody, international and then stateside, all on one level, and they rank them by GPAs. So that's how they decide the first 180 people to offer interviews to. And then the next 180 is strictly, I think it's strictly California residents. I definitely know there's no international students included in it. And that's when they do a holistic review. They take into account your letters of recommendation, your experience, your essays, those kinds of things that kind of supplement you as a person, that explain more than just, oh, I didn't get a 4.0. So.
Any other questions? It's 8:30, so if everyone wants to leave or stay, I'm here. I technically let the meeting run until 9, so you can stay as long as you want, but if you also want to go, that's also fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna get going. Thank you though. Thank you so much.
Of course, reach out if you need anything.
Yeah, I'm heading out too. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Sorry, I just want to say hi, Lauren. I miss you. Hi, Kayla. I miss you guys.
I miss you guys too. Anyone who's not in the officer meetings, like, it's really such a great community, and like not just for the officers, it's for everyone too. So we're trying to not just be club members, but also just friends. So
yeah,
if you need anything, let me know. I am in SLO. I will drop off. You get sick, I will stay 6 feet away, and I'll drop off soup at your door. Let me know.
I am in San Luis Obispo as well. So, are you in SLO, Kayla?
I am, yeah. I'm in PCB. If any of you happen to see me moving with the camera and all of a sudden it got dark, that was because we had a fire drill. Yeah, as soon as I muted myself, because I said something, I remember, I think I was talking about the Ag Council position. As soon as I muted myself, fire alarm. So I was like, thank God they didn't have to listen to that. It was loud. It was all on my ears. Like,
oh my gosh.
I saw your face. You're like,
yeah. So I was like, of course, it had to be the day that I had to do this.
Right. It's too funny.
It was freaking freezing outside because normally it's freaking cold.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was a good meeting. Good job, guys. I really like it.
I'll see you guys next week for officer election.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I have a quick question.
Of course.
Sorry. Do you recommend any professors who have specialties in reproduction medicine or reproductive medicine?
Yeah, so there's 2 of them at the school right now. One of them is Dr. Campos. Let me see if I can find his email real quick. Sorry, I'm just going into my email. He is like a veterinarian, and he does all the repro for, and also Dr. Bird does it too. But Dr. Campos is the one. Okay, I have an assistant. All right, so Dr. Campos is going to be LCAMPOSC at calpoly.edu. He's like crazy good with all the especially with like embryo, like they take a single sperm and inject it into an egg to create like a single embryo. It's called HB, and he's a person who does that. He's like one of the only people who's able to do like this one certain, I forget what it's called, but a bunch of the reproductive specialists in California wanted him to come work for him, and he said no. And so then they bought him equipment so that he could use it to train Cal Poly students to go work into the reproductive field. So Cal Poly has like crazy, I don't know if we'll be able to use it this year, but we like when you're in his repro class, he does sperm sorting, everything like that. And then we have Dr. Vagnoni. She does a lot more of the endocrine side of it. So Dr. Karen Vagnoni. I don't know if I probably have her email somewhere.
I think I can find her email for you.
Hey, Vag. That's what she calls herself. And then the only other person would be Dr. Bird. I think he does repro too. And he teaches the repro class this quarter. So any of those people, you send out an email. What? Oh, so you send out an email to any of those people. Let me find it. So she put Vagnoni's email down there, and I'll find Dr. Bird's.
Oh, it's just M Bird.
M Bird, but Bird spelled weird, right? It's not
E-R-D. I can
hear you.
Put it in there too if you'd like.
Yeah. Try to think of who else does repro. If you're interested in swine repro, that would just be Morgan. She's a master's student, so she's not a doctor, but she takes care of all the swine reproductive stuff at the swine unit. A lot of the and then if you were interested in like dairy specifically, I'm sure like the dairy probably I'm forgetting his, because we just got a brand new dairy person. I'd have to look up his email, but he was really interested in that. And he runs the whole dairy repro, which is basically if you talk to anyone in dairy, you're probably, they're going to tell you they're in the repro business, because if your cow's not pregnant, then they're not going to be producing milk. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not sure which animal I really want to focus on yet, but like reproduction has always been something I've kind of like understood more than some of the other systems. So I'd rather just like take advantage of that if I already like a bit of a keenness for it.
I think I would say that Dr. Bird and Dr. Campos are the most that they teach most of the hands-on classes. Dr. Vagnoni did more of the in-person like lecture based, but she's still like very knowledgeable. She just did a lot more of endocrine. But basically between all the different fields, there's someone who does repro in all of them. And of course you can, decide later. You don't have to decide even until after vet school what animal you want to work with specifically. But
yeah, and I think there's pretty much an enterprise for every animal reproduction. Like we do the breeding enterprise for the horses. I know that dairy does like AI. I want to say beef cattle does AI too. Swine I know does AI, but I don't know how much they do hands-on like students. Like
if you were to reach out to them and like express interest, like there just wouldn't necessarily be a specific program for that, but if you were to be like, oh, I'm really interested in pigs, I'm also interested in repro, they'd like help you get a
I was gonna ask. So I'm not really sure. Like, I haven't taken any classes with them because I'm actually a bio major, not animal science. So I'm not familiar with a lot of the people in the animal science department. So I just don't know what I would say. Like, oh, I'm sure I'm gonna take some of their classes. But as far as like, how can I get more involved with this? Like,
you don't have to be animal science at all. So just just tell them your name. What you're interested in. You don't even have to tell them you're animal science or not. They won't care.
Yeah, I might recommend, since you're not an animal science major, so you don't have to take it. ASI 351, which is our reproductive physiology class.
Oh, it's in like my calendar. I'm planning to take that for sure.
Okay. It's a good class. And then Dr. Campos offers higher level I would know this because she's in it. It's embryology.
And then it's like a 2-quarter process. First one's like a do you want to talk about it, Riley?
I don't have anything to say.
Okay. It's basically like the first quarter is like learning about everything, and then I think it's hands-on. The second quarter, I think they use mice because I worked in the cow polyvivarium, and the mice that they had were used for that.
Okay, gotcha. And then sorry for all the questions. I know after.
Oh, I don't mind. Don't.
But last year I took Animal Science 229 with Sprayberry, and she expressed interest that she wanted me to be one of her TAs for next winter. And I sent her an email, but she hasn't gotten back to me. So I don't know if there's just like a communication thing, or is there an easier way I can reach her so that way I can
email her again. Email her again. She answers. Sometimes doesn't always answer. Her father just passed away like a week and a half ago, give or take. The other thing is you probably give her a little bit more time because she won't teach it until winter again. So she may not have an answer for you like right now.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely like email her again. I had to do that over
Yeah.
summer to get a letter from her, and then she's also going to help me with my senior project because she kind of came up with the idea. Because I told her, I was like, oh, I want to do X, Y, Z. She's like, well, why don't you just put them on a senior project? I was like, that's smart. But yeah, she's notoriously hard to find.
Yeah, it's just something I really want to take advantage of. Since she offered it too, I'm just like,
Yeah. Don't be afraid to send a couple emails. If she probably just didn't see it because she probably got a lot of emails over the summer.
Oh yeah, no worries. I'll wait till the schedule gets released too, just so that way it's set in stone.
Yeah. She's always looking for TA, so.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for answering my questions. I know I kept you a little bit over the time, but
don't
I look forward to.
I cleared the schedule till 9, so you don't have to worry about it. If you have any other questions, I put my email. I'm going to send out the link of the whole PowerPoint. But if you want to write down my email also, I can also give you my phone number. Feel free to contact me anytime.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So my email is lwienker@calpoly.edu, and then my phone number is 530-219-9503.
9503.
Yeah, don't feel free to text me, call me, anything. You're good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a
good night, guys. I'll see you next week.
Okay.
She's so cute.
I know. I love all our new freshmen.
I know. I'm like, I feel old also. I'm like,
I feel
so
old too.
like, baby, I'm just like,
no, I'm like, I want to be a mentor for all of them. Okay.
I'm like, I'm excited. Like, Taylor, good idea, because like,
I know
they tried to do it like our freshman year, but it was kind of off. I was like, too many people to one person. It was more like, oh, officers will take 5 people. It's like, that's not as.
I think that we'll try. I'll help Taylor like try to set up 1-to-1 or maybe 2-to-1 at the most. Because I just want to make sure that the mentors know this. Like if they're signing up for it, that's not acceptable to like be like, oh, I don't want to meet this. Like like not want to meet like a week, but like it's not something we can just like if you sign up to be a mentor, you're gonna be a mentor. You're not gonna be like not reachable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I guess I'll see you next week. If you have any questions, do you know what you're going to try to run for yet?
I haven't really made up my mind yet.
So many options.
I know. I'm like, this one, that one. I think probably secretary or publicity is what I'm aiming for.
Okay.
I couldn't get that out of my mouth.
Okay. No, they're laughing at me in the background. All right, so I will see you next week, okay?
All right, bye.
Bye.